Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Acharya Stotra Sata His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON BBT Founder Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinatha Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Ganga Mai Ki Yamuna Mai Ki Tulsi Maharani Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for your Sangha. We are reading now from Bhagavad-Gita. It says text 16, but this is very secret verse, so the chapter is also secret. But I will reveal it. It's 18. Yes, so anyone can take Bhagavad Gita from there if you want to follow. But it's also on the screen, so it's not a big problem. Okay, so we will chant the verse and chant the verse. Yes, it is here. Okay, you repeat after me. Sarvaguyatamam bhuyaha Shrinu me paramam vachaha Ishto si me dridam iti Tato vakshyami te hitam Sarvaguhyatamam bhuya Shrinu me paramam vachaha Ishto si me dridam iti Tato vakshyami te hitam Sarvaguhyatamam bhuya Guhyatamam bhuya Shrinu me paramam vachaha Ishto si me dridam iti Tato vakshyami te hitam. This chant. Now we are reading word for word translation. Sarvaguhyatamam, the most confidential of all. Bhuyaha, again. Shrinu, just here. Me, from me. Paramam, the supreme. Vachaha, instruction. Ishtaha, asi, you are dear. Me, to me. Dridam, very. Iti, thus. Tataha, therefore. Vakshyami, I am speaking. Te, for you. For your hitam, benefit. Translation. Because you are my very dear friend, repeat. Because you are my very dear friend. I am speaking to you. My supreme instruction. The most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me. For it is for your benefit. Now, the purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, the Lord has given Arjuna knowledge that is confidential, knowledge of Brahman, and still more confidential, knowledge of Supersoul within everyone's heart. And now, He is giving the most confidential part of knowledge, just surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At the end of the 9th chapter, He has said, Manmanaha, just always think of me. The same instruction is repeated here to stress the essence of the teachings of Bhagavad-Gita. This essence is not understood by a common man, but by one who is actually very dear to Krishna, a pure devotee of Krishna. This is the most important instruction in all Vedic literature. What Krishna is saying is in this connection is the most essential part of knowledge, and it should be carried out not only by Arjuna, but by all living entities. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Staptitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dashitarine. So we read verse one more time. Sarva guhyatamam bhuyah shrinu me paramam vachaha. Isto sime dridamitti tato vakshyami te hitam. Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. Hare Krishna. So yes, today we have a very special verse. And I said it's a verse about secret. And that's why I said the chapter was also a secret. But it is indeed a verse about the secret. And it has many aspects of it. And the key word, how I see it, is that guya, which is secret. And it's not just any kind of secret. It's a topmost secret. Guyatamam. Sarva guyatamam, the most, biggest secret. Is, I think everyone has some secret. Anyone who has no secret? No secret? You have any secret? Can you tell? That's a secret. Anyone can tell a secret? No. But Krishna tells a secret. And Krishna also has his secret. Yeah? And in Bhagavad-Gita, actually many times he mentions, even in 9th chapter, he also says, Raja Vidya Raja Guya, that it is it's a king of all secrets. Yes. So there he is kind of giving some excitement about the secret is there. So then you have to, that was in the middle of Bhagavad-Gita. So now at the very end, he's actually disclosing about the secret. And next 8 verses are Krishna's secret. So the same like we have our persons and we have our secrets. So nobody wants to tell a secret. Tell some of your secret. We can give a mic. You will be on YouTube. Why not? Who you will tell your secret to? to some very close person you will tell. So this is what Krishna is also doing. He's telling it to Arjuna, because I'm telling you my secret. And why? Because you are very dear to me. So this is natural. We will only share our secrets to someone who is very dear to us, because everything comes from the Lord. Lord has this mood. He will share secret to someone who is very dear. So that's why we also have the same mentality. It's not that because we are like this, okay, then Krishna is also doing the same. Actually, it's opposite. Because he's doing it. That's why we have the same attitude, mood, mentality. So he's saying that what he's going to tell now is Sarva Guyatamam. And then he says Paramam Vachaha, the topmost. So basically the secret is the topmost what he can tell. It is the topmost what he can tell. So we can say he talked, we hear, he spoke 45 minutes Bhagavad-Gita. So means this much is past already and this much only left. These are all index also, so basically it's even less, the pronunciation of letters. So it's like few pages only left. So something like 42 minutes he must have spoken until now. So all this, we can kind of discard in one sense, because this is what he actually wanted to say. Yes. So we reached that point also here. He says, Shrinu me, you listen to me. Paramam vachaha. I'm telling you something supreme. And that supreme is what? It is my secret. But I'm telling it to you. Why? Because ishto sime. Ishta is like Ishtadev. Yeah, Ishtadeva. It's some kind of some deity form of Krishna, or form of Krishna who we aspire to worship and serve. Ishta, it is something very special and also like a secret. And something very dear to us. So this Ishta is like very, that is he's calling Arjuna like that. Is very dear to him. And then Prabhupada translates that word dridam, very, like a drida vrata. We hear it in Bhagavad-Gita earlier, like very severe vow, the very heavy vow we have taken. Drida vrata, like, and then it said drida vrata is like fasting on Janmashtami or fasting on Ekadashi. So often devotees go to other person, okay, let's fast on, no, we'll do Nirjala, let's do together. And because it's difficult, so it's drida. So that same drida, this much drida, Arjuna is dear to Krishna. Ishta sime drida iti. So, iti, yes, thus I am telling to you ito, telling this to you, vakshyami. That's how I will speak now, because of you are so dear to me. And so that's Krishna's feelings. Actually, this is kind of an emotional part of Bhagavad-Gita, because now Krishna will open up his emotions. So we'll read those following 8 verses, because this is a secret. Now we, like, otherwise we kind of hanging in the air. Krishna just said, okay, I'm going to tell you no secret. Okay, class, end. Now we're going to read the following 8 verses, which actually discloses Krishna's secret. I think we should switch off the YouTube, because it's a secret. He doesn't hear. He has earphones. Maybe he's listening to something else. Or maybe he doesn't understand English. Okay, let's read whatever it is. Always think of me. It's Krishna's secret. Yeah, so let's be attentive. Always think of me. Become, I should not shout. Become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this, because you are my very dear friend. My very dear friend, he says. Next, and abandon everything. It's translated here, all varieties of religion. But Prabhupada often says in his class, just give it up, everything, and don't talk nonsense. This is what Prabhupada said. Because he says that until now, so much nonsense was spoken. So Prabhupada says, until now in Bhagavad Gita, so much nonsense was spoken. Just give it up and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. And there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will ever be one more dear. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. O son of Pritha, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with attentive mind? And are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? So we can see how Krishna speaks. He's saying, you are very dear to me, and there is no one more dear to me. And have you heard this? It is said mind, but actually it's a chetasa. It is like a heart. Have you heard it with your heart, with attentive heart? So heart carries all the emotions and feelings. So actually, this is like an upheaval of emotions. I had some situation in my life. I received a letter from one friend. It was a situation that we had to part, and the letter was saying, you are the only one who could understand me. You are the only one who could, you are so dear, and like this. So it was very emotional, that letter. I felt that this person was crying when this letter was written. I even almost started to cry while reading it. So this is what Krishna is actually saying here, that he's talking about someone who is so dear that there will be no one ever more dear. So it is something very special to hear from God. God is saying like this. And definitely it is a secret when we open up like heart to someone and we go to that person and you say, you're so dear. No one will ever be so dear to me. If someone tells it to you, it's like, means something. Yes, so it is a very special section like that, full of transcendental emotions between the Lord and a bhakta. And Guyam, it's not all, it means secret, but another meaning is very subtle. And that's why it's secret. Because gross things, everyone sees this book holder. Anyone is there who doesn't see this? Maybe that boy who sits at the back because he's looking in a phone. Haribol, you're on a phone? Yeah? What do you do there? You're checking. Come here, you will see from here. You can see in front. He's shy. Anyway, so he didn't see this, but everyone else sees this because it's gross matter. What about mind? No one sees mind. That's why even some of scientists arguing whether it exists, doesn't exist, intelligence, mind, because we haven't seen. So the more subtle it goes, the more difficult is to actually perceive it and see. The only person who can see my mind, who I reveal it to. And it must be a very dear person. And then something even more subtle. There are some things in my mind which I may not reveal, but someone more dear person can see it even and feel it without being revealed. So this Guyam is it is secret, but it's also subtle. So and that's why Srila Prabhupada says that it can be perceived and it cannot be understood by a common man, but by one who is actually very dear to Krishna, a pure devotee of Krishna. because a pure devotee can perceive all the subtle truths of the absolute. And these are those secrets. Like, for example, devotional service. It is said it's Raja Vidya, it's a king of all the knowledge. And the king of all the secrets, it is devotional service, bhakti. And we may think, oh, so many devotees, especially in Vrindavan, everybody is a devotee. But actually, this intrinsic truth of bhakti, it's not that it's just so easy to understand and perceive, because somebody who has done that, they just fully surrender to the Lord. That's why there are different stages of bhakti, different categories of bhakti, mixed and half mixed and little bit mixed and unmixed. And then there is a Kevala bhakti, pure bhakti. So the purer it is, the more subtle things we can see and we can perceive. And these are those Krishna's secrets. And we can perceive the more and more subtle things until really we can become so close to Krishna. Then we'll become like Srila Prabhupada says, and you will eat with Krishna, and you will dance with Krishna, and you will joke with Krishna, and Krishna will kiss you also. Srila Prabhupada says like this, and this kiss is such a wonderful thing. And this is such a wonderful statement because it includes everything. It is like the highest thing. Even in the material world, it is the most saturated form of love when you want to kiss someone. And it is applicable for each and every rasa. Like we have different rasas, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. And in each of this rasa, the kiss is the most saturated expression of love and the most intimate dealing. Like a master would like to kiss a servant because of gratitude and affection, how the servant is serving. And a friend would like to give a kiss to another friend. There are even cultures when you meet and they kiss, when they meet. And of course, a mother wants to kiss a child, and a child wants to kiss the mother, and of course, the lovers, and like this. So, this subtle perception of the spiritual truth gets more and more refined until it happens to us, because Srila Prabhupada says it is not only it's not only for Arjuna, but for all living entities. So that subtle truth, which is a Krishna's secret, can be perceived by living entities in a purified state. So what are these impurities that disallow us to receive that kiss of Krishna or embrace of Krishna, or what disallow us to be with him in a very close and intimate relationship, that he can disclose his secret to us and tell that we are so dear to him. So this allow us to actually perceive these subtle things are contaminations of material world in a form of material modes of nature, because it may happen that in our day-to-day life, devotees are still mingling with the modes of nature, and they are not just trying to be associating with higher modes, but associating with lower. Like, for example, our food. Yes, many times we see that devotees are in rush or they are hungry, and they just buy a packet of biscuit. And then with that same biscuit, they not just eat a biscuit only. They eat the whole consciousness of the person who cooked that biscuit. Or maybe they eat Mahaprashadam of a cockroach who was in that factory, who ate it before you bought it. So, and sometimes we don't understand what it actually means to what these grains cooked by non-devotees carry in them. And there is one devotee from America, he makes some jokes, and he said it that I better eat cardboard than karmic grains. Is because you carry the lust, you actually eat that lust and that greed, and all what the cook or whoever handled the process of preparing that food, you carry their consciousness. That is one thing, and on top of it, why would Krishna is obliged to accept that bread or biscuit? Because he says, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam Bhaktya Mam Abhijan. He wants that bhakti. He's not a hungry boy that is because he sees one biscuit, he's obliged, or just because you rang the bell, he's obliged. What to speak of bell? You just said Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, and then he's obliged to accept it. Yes, so he's not under such obligation. So possibly with that karmic grain eating, we just eat bhoga, and which means we eat sin. Yes. So then, where is the question of understanding the subtle guyatama, the topmost secret, the most subtle secret of the Lord? Yes. So and what is this secret? Srila Prabhupada said, just give up everything and stop talking nonsense and surrender to Krishna. Yes. So this is not just talking nonsense, but eating nonsense, watching nonsense. Everything, just give up all the nonsense and surrender unto Krishna. So that is the topmost secret. And maybe the reason someone may not be able to surrender is because they still would like to eat, talk, or watch some nonsense. And because of the influence, then that surrender is not happening. I wanted to read also something interesting. I had one book with me. I have many bookmarks, but I need to find now where it is. It talks about two types of chanters. Because devotee means what? They chant Hare Krishna, yes. Like in Chaitanya Charitamrita was asked, how do you understand who is a devotee? One who chants Hare Krishna, yes. 3 times was asked, and 3 times one who chants one time Krishna, one who chants constantly Krishna, and one who makes others chant Krishna. So, means, who is devotee? The devotee is who chant Hare Krishna. So, means if we want to talk about devotees, we talk about chanters of Hare Krishna. So here is a book by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he writes about 2 types of chanters. We still follow how we got to this point, yes, because we want to understand. Like Arjuna was revealed a secret of Krishna. So anybody would like that Krishna comes and tells a secret? Who doesn't want? No? You don't want? You want? Then raise a hand. You also no want? Yes, raise a hand. Okay, so who wants that Krishna real secret? Yes. Everyone wants. Only he not. Haribo. He's busy. Yeah. Okay. So no problem. When Krishna tells us, we can tell him also. Yes. So we want, but then we said that it is very, very subtle also, difficult to understand. And why? Because our consciousness might be polluted by things we do. Yes? And so for us, we need to become devotees, to be dear to Krishna. and we have to become a dear devotees. And then we said that devotee is a chanter of Krishna. Yes. So now we read about chanting, about the two types of chanters of Hare Krishna, of the holy name of the Lord. So I'm reading it with the aim to inspire us to become dearer and dearer and dearer to Krishna, so that this secret, do you want to hear Krishna's secret? You want, good. So that the secret is revealed to us. Okay, so we will start reading. There are two types of chanters. Who is saying this? Bhakti-Vinod Thakur, yes. There are two types of chanters. Those who are practicing and those who have attained perfection. So sadhakas and siddhas. So then the sadhakas are also of two types. The ones who are preliminary chanters and the other ones who are continuous chanters. So the preliminary practitioners start to increase their chanting until they can chant constantly without a break. When that is attained, it is called continuous. Yeah? So preliminary chanter is not chanting continuously, but is aspiring for that. And then continuous chanter is chanting continuously. And why it is? Because a preliminary devotee do not have taste for chanting because of the bitter contamination of ignorance. But by constantly chanting the rounds on Tulsi beads, they attain continuous stage, where the respect for name grows. Yes, so preliminary chanter has not attained the taste. This is the reason why they cannot chant continuous. But if they still persevere and chant continuously, then the respect for the name grows. And that's what, and the reason why we have that contamination of bitter contamination of ignorance, it's mainly due to offenses. Because it is written in Srimad Bhagavatam, also Srila Prabhupada says that just by getting in touch with any kind of Krishna, anything connected to Krishna, and the name especially, who is non-different from Krishna, there should be transformation of heart. And it's not that the transformation of heart, that I become some philanthropic person and I'm smiling every morning, I'm saying Haribol. Transformation of heart means that heart gets softened by rasa of the name. This is what means the transformation of the heart. So that means that the taste is there, and due to the taste, the transformation of heart, the softening of heart due to rasa takes place. But if that does not happen, it is due to offenses only. This is what's written in Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is due to offenses. So we have how many nama aparadas, how many offenses to the holy name? 10. And if happen to that we commit some of them, what to do? Huh? There are many, each offense have something to like cure it. Like, for example, for Vaishnava Parada, we'd have to take forgiveness to the Vaishnava, ask forgiveness. But you're right. No matter which offense we have performed, all of them simultaneously of any kind of so-called remedy, we can say, there is also continuous chanting. So basically, that continuous chanting is not just some high advanced state. Person has to start continue chanting on the stage of aparada to get purified and cleared from these aparadas of offenses and gain forgiveness for them. So that's why it's said here is that this type of preliminary chanter who doesn't have a taste, he should chant constantly, and in that way the respect for the name will grow. At that stage, they do, and when that respect has grown, at that stage, they don't want to give up chanting at all. And by constantly chanting with respect, the taste for the name is born. First respect is born, and then there's a taste is born. How the taste for the name is born? How the taste for the name is born? By constantly chanting, yes. So if anybody wants to have a taste, what they should do? Chant constantly. You want to have taste for the holy name? Have you started to chant constantly? Are you chanting now? So, so it's no, you haven't started. So please start. At that time, the sin, the seed of sin or desire, the root of sin. Yes, so the sin, the seed of sin, the root of sin and ignorance is destroyed. When it's destroyed? When constant chanting. Have you started to chant constantly? Still no? Okay. I give up. No, we should never give up. During the preliminary stage, the devotee must eagerly strive for chanting without offenses. It is absolutely necessary. This will happen only by avoiding bad association and taking instructions from devotees. When the preliminary stage is passed with constant chanting, the taste for the name and compassion for the living entities increases. How the preliminary stage is passed? How it's passed? By constant chanting. Still you haven't started? Yes, you can chant in mind. It's also chanting. Yeah, so the chanting of the name with concentrated mind in association of devotees in a very short time. By chanting of the name in with association of devotees in a very short time, the heart becomes pure and ignorance destroyed. As much as ignorance is destroyed, the heart becomes even more pure. So by chanting with concentrated mind and association of devotees, all the ignorance is destroyed. So by chanting the name while understanding its meaning and praying to Krishna with tears in the eyes, gradually, by Krishna's mercy, the chanting will advance. And then we can become continuous chanters. Even now we are still trying. We haven't started to try, but we will try soon. And then we, by continuous chanting, develop respect. After developing respect, we develop what? Taste. And then we don't want to give up the chanting, and that's how continuous stage comes. And we have the taste for the name and compassion for the living entities. So, and how do we do it? By chanting while understanding the meaning of the name and praying to Krishna with tears in eyes. So these two things we have to do. If this method is not followed, it will take many lifetimes to reach perfection. In the same way, like with karma and jnana. Because bhakti is powerful. Bhakti is fast. Bhakti is independent. But if we don't follow what is written, then it will take lifetimes. Like with karma and jnana processes. So those who try to chant, now there are two types of chanters, siddha and sadhaka. The two types of sadhakas, preliminary and continuous. They try to chant. So then those who try to chant, there are also two types. And one is bharavahi and another is saragrahi. So Bharavahi is a load bearer. Devotional service is like a load. And Saragrahi is an essence drinker. Those who are attached to material world, to bhukti and mukti, become taxed with the heavy burden of trying to attain dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. They do not know about the essence that is prema. And I tell you what, that this prema is that secret which Krishna is talking about. That's why he said, just give up everything and just surrender it to me. But that's what means the love. And what is love? It's prema. So Bharavahis are those who are attached to bhukti, which means enjoyment. And those who are attached to mukti, the peace and liberation. It's not just liberation of sayuja mukti, because all of us will say, oh no, I'm not interested in sayuja or merging or something. But just if we want to have a peaceful environment, if I have peace, then I will serve Krishna. Actually, Charis explained that it's also a desire for mukti. Because bhakti it doesn't depend on any circumstances. So, and they are taxed with a heavy burden. Bhara is a burden. Bharavahi, the load carrier. So what kind of load they carry? The load they carry is dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. This is the load they carry. Dharma. That's why Krishna says, you give up all auspicious and inauspicious things. But if we are very attached to dharma, what we need to do, what is our duty, how we have to do this in the material world, we have to be good people, I have to carry my father's business, otherwise what people will think, they brought me up, so I have to be a good person in society to represent my family, and I have to be this and I have to be that. Srila Prabhupada says, you think you are a Brahmana, you do your Brahmana duty, and you are a businessman, you do your business duty, but actually you don't know anything, because your only duty is to surrender to Krishna. This is Srila Prabhupada. So artha, money, kama, enjoyment, moksha, peace. So these people don't know the essence that is prema. Thus these people, though they labor hard, do not become spiritually elevated by chanting. So those who carry the load of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, even if they chant, 64 rounds or whatever, they don't become elevated by chanting because of that load. But those who understand the essence aim for prema and very quickly attain their desired end. These devotees are aspiring for prema. They very quickly attain prema and become natural paramahamsas, drinking the nectar continuously. So what is the hope? If the Bharavahis, the load bearers, learn to appreciate the essence, then they too can quickly become aspirants for prema. So, let's learn to appreciate the essence. Hare Krishna. Any comments, corrections, chastisements? Welcome. Mike, some mics we have?
I'll just try to be loud.
Can someone ask him a mic? No mic. Okay.
I'll just try to be loud.
I will repeat.
Okay. So, I have a question about terminology, really, because sometimes when we are, first of all, thank you. This is an amazing lecture. I'm so glad that you pulled me into this, and that I was able to hear from you. So when we're speaking about Sankirtan, often it's a word that's utilized to speak about many different aspects of activity, right? So Sankirtan is Krishna Kirtan, Sankirtan is Harinam, and Sankirtan is a Bhagavad-Gita class. And so I was wondering, chanting constantly, is it chanting the Maha Mantra constantly, or is it also this where we're speaking Krishna Katha and things like this? I was just curious if you could clarify specifically when you say chanting constantly, what does that look like?
Yeah, so it is mentioned by great Vaishnavas that there are various types of Sankirtan. There are various types of Kirtan. Guna Kirtan, Lila Kirtan, Nama Kirtan. Means Guna is where we glorify, because it means glorifying, to glorify. Hari Kirtan is to glorify Hari. So Guna Kirtan is where we glorify Krishna's qualities. Lila Kirtan is where we glorify Krishna's pastimes. And Nama Kirtan is when we glorify Krishna's name. And it is said by the great Vaishnavas that out of all these, all are Sankirtan. But out of all these, Nama Kirtan is the most powerful, most potent. It doesn't mean that it's diminishing others. In the spiritual world, it's not like 1 + 1 is 2. Everything, 1 is unlimited and 2 is unlimited. But still, out of all these kirtans, Nam Kirtan is the most powerful. And out of Nama Kirtan, there are also many Nam Kirtans. Govinda, Govinda, Gopala, Gopala, yeah. Many things. Om Namo Narayanaya, all are Kirtan, Nam Kirtan. But out of Nam Kirtan, Mahamantra Kirtan is the most potent. And out of all the types of Mahamantra Kirtan, when devotees come together, that's called Sankirtan, that is even more potent. And when there is Maha Sankirtan, where thousands of devotees are together, this is the most potent. But all of them are Kirtan. Hare Krishna. Okay? Hare yes. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to ask question. Repeat the question. Her question was, it's for online, that when we say chant constantly, does it mean only chanting the Maha Mantra, or it also means Krishna Katha and other types of glorification of the Lord? Then you become machine. Yes. She's asking if, because we mentioned about not eating food cooked by non-devotees. But what about if food is like bread or cookies are cooked by machines? Then we can become machine because it's our consciousness. But she says no. So next Bhagavad-Gita class she can give. Hare Krishna. Thank you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.